Hello, and welcome to the Be a Fucking Lion podcast. My name is MJ, and I seek to inspire as many women as possible, take charge of their life, dream big, set goals, and go after them relentlessly. Today's podcast might make some women mad, but since it's Father's Day and my podcast is geared towards women, today's podcast is about who you choose to lay down with and taking responsibility for that instead of constantly bitching about your worthless baby daddy, who you knew was worthless before you laid down with him. For example, he's ghetto as fuck, or already has multiple kids with multiple women, or he never treated you right in the first place, but yet you stayed until you got pregnant. Or he has no job, or he has a loser job and he isn't making shit, etc. Duh. How are you going to get child support from someone who doesn't make shit? And you knew he didn't make shit when you lay down with him. And now you have his child and you want to bitch about him not paying child support? Come on. You tell me how that logic makes sense. We can't change others, but we can change ourselves and be more careful about our decisions. We also need to take full responsibility for our decisions, including who we have sex with. And this does not include the few exceptions. I know there are some women out there who truly thought they had a good boyfriend or a husband and he did everything right and somehow missed the mark on being a good father. There are always a few exceptions. This episode isn't about those exceptions. None of my podcast episodes are geared towards the few exceptions. I see so many women constantly bitching about their baby daddy not paying child support all over social media. They bitch about them being worthless, etc. But yet you chose to have kids with that man. Take your responsibility and keep going. Quit wasting your energy. You will never change him, and the courts don't care. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip, so quit expecting higher child support from someone you knew didn't have a good job to begin with, if a job at all. And don't bitch about the $10 a month child support that the courts ordered. You laid down with that loser. That is a decision you made. I am by no means saying it is okay for any guy to be a deadbeat father either. This podcast is not about them. It's about us women needing to make better decisions on who we lay down with. It's about us women taking on our responsibility. And I don't mean our responsibility of our children. That's inevitable. We will raise our kids. I'm talking about our responsibility of the men we chose to lay down with. That's the responsibility we have to take. Because we can't change the deadbeats. That is not our responsibility. Our responsibility are the decisions we make. That's what we have to take responsibility on. I was one of those women with my first child. My next two, I knew it was wasted energy and my fault. I chose some losers to lay down with for sure. But I don't regret any of my kids. They made me stronger, made me stay out of prison, made me go to college, made me strive to keep getting better. It was so hard. And it took me a long time to grow up since I had my first child as a teenager. But I handled my responsibility 100% on my own with all of them. I never did learn how to have kids with the right man, but I did learn it was my responsibility and my fault for choosing such worthless ass dudes to have kids with, to have sex with. And I'm fertile as fuck. And 2 of my kids happened while under the influence of alcohol. None of my kids were planned. Again, my responsibility for being so careless and giving it up to worthless ass dudes. We attract and choose men who are on the same level of us. If you want better men, we as women need to level up and change ourselves in order to attract better men. When I look back to the time in my life that I was laying down with worthless men, I was pretty worthless myself, meaning my mindset was ghetto. I was immature and young. I didn't have goals or doing anything important in my life. I was hanging around others who were also on that same level. Partying and fighting was the extent of our goals. What kind of weed or ecstasy were we going to buy was the decisions we were making back then. I was constantly in bar fights and just not a very good human being back then. Like, I'm going to attract some educated career man who will be a great father with that lifestyle and mindset, right? Come on. I know we all make dumb decisions when we are young, and unfortunately, some never learn from them and keep making them. But I hope I can reach young women with my words. I wish I had someone who would have mentored me when I was younger, or someone to guide me in a more positive direction. I never had a mother or a father around. My words and wisdom come from my own life experiences and the lessons I learned. I don't ever judge others, for I also was in all of the shoes I speak of. This is why I started this podcast, to inspire as many women as possible, take charge of their fucking life, take responsibility for all of your decisions, grow, set goals, and go after them relentlessly. Because I too was once in your shoes, and since I changed my own mindset, my entire being has changed and my entire life has changed for the better because of it. I encourage all women to think about where you are in life right now. Who are you dating or sleeping with? Are they a good human? Are you a good human? How do you envision your future? What kind of role model do you want to be for your children? What kind of role model do you want your kids' father to be? If you're listening to this and you don't already have children, or even if you already have children, you need to think about the kind of role model, the kind of men you want to date, so you don't make the same mistake. And just because your child's father is a deadbeat, don't keep attracting deadbeats into your life. You want to date men who will be better role models for your child and for your future children. What are you doing in your life right now to make your dreams and expectations a reality? I leveled up my expectations. Therefore, I had to level up in order to meet those same expectations I had in a man, and it worked. Like, for example, I have my ideal type of man, and for me to date, and he has to have good credit, good income, a good career. And I knew in order to attract that person, I had to fix my credit. I have to have good income. And, I need to meet the same expectations I have of my future mate. Because how can I have those expectations if I don't have of him, if I don't meet those same expectations? And it works. It really works. Stop focusing on your worthless baby daddy and start focusing on yourself. Learn how to change your mindset and begin to grow. For me, I read many self-help books. I listened to YouTube videos daily, podcasts, and lots of reading. Then I practiced. Once I learned to take responsibility for my own decisions, my anger towards my kids' fathers went away. I no longer carried their burden of being so worthless. I no longer blamed them for their lack of everything. I no longer even cared about who they are as a person, for I can't change them. A huge, huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders once I learned to take responsibility for my own decisions and quit blaming others. Every decision we make in life, there is a consequence, good or bad, for our own lives. It is our decisions that we make that chooses the outcome of everything. And once I learned that, and it took me a while for my mind to think that way, but once I learned that every decision I make, I need to take responsibility for, it gave me the greatest sense of freedom that you can feel, because it just releases all of the anger and negative emotions, right? And then I became angry with myself, right? And you have to feel that in order to grow and change and learn your lesson. Our children are gifts, no matter who procreated them. And while it does suck for our children to be fatherless, we as mothers can still raise some very good humans and be the best role models we can be for them. We should not bash their fathers, especially in front of them. We shouldn't let them see us angry or let our anger towards their father take any joy away from them. Trust me, I did it. I was so angry when I was young, and I was such a young mother, and I was screaming at my kids all the time and taking my emotions out on them, and I even bought a book once. It's called Scream Free Parenting. I don't remember who wrote it, but for me, whenever there was something in myself that I knew I needed to change or I needed help with, I turned to books. Like I said, books and YouTube videos. And, and I look back and it's like how much of my relationship with my kids was damaged because of it. Our job as mothers is to not put that burden and that anger onto our innocent, selfless children. And it's also not to waste energy on their deadbeat dads. We can't change them. And the faster you realize that, the happier you will be. It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. But what we can do is change ourselves and attract better and be better. Stop bashing your baby daddy and start changing yourself. It's time to grow, and it's time to make better decisions. Thank you for listening, and I hope my words inspire you to take action in your life. Be a fucking lion and go after your dreams relentlessly. You can go to beafuckinglion.com and sign up for my Monday motivation newsletter, where I send one email a week on Mondays that covers topics on mind, body, and health. Be happy. Be healthy. Thank you for listening.